Yeah, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Zai. You already know what time it is. It's probably like what time, man? Let me just check real quick, before I even get to talking. It's 3:23, dog. I get off around like 6. So, that's a quick little 12, 13 hours, depending on when the homie, shows up. But it's easy money, dog. I mean, outside of the little bullshit that might take place from day to day, like, because, I mean, dude, you're in the hood, you're in the ghetto, you're going to deal with all types of situations that you got to be able to become that man. But that's not even what I want to talk about. I'm gonna get into a whole dispel this whole myth that you can't become a security if you got a felony, because you got these idiots that come on my thing talking about how you're gonna be a felon and work security. Which, so you're saying I'm not a felon because I work security? I'm a security with no felonies, because they will both be wrong. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it really comes down to what you got busted for. And seeing that my crimes were kind of heinous, it really comes down to what you were busted for. Like, you have some situations, like I know there's companies, for instance, that won't allow you to work for them if you got any type of robberies. Not necessarily sure why that is, but that's their rules. They deal with everything else except robberies. Then you got other companies that won't deal with you if you have any type of drug offenses, because most of their securities assignments are based around marijuana things, this rehabs, any substance abuse, like, you know, so on and so forth. So they won't allow you to deal with them if you have any type of drug charges. But then other ones don't really trip off exactly. They really don't trip off necessarily anything, as long as you don't have, anything like, rape or something like that. But, they don't necessarily dig too far into your past, because at the end of the day, you still got your guard card, or the one that allows you to work for only certain companies. So they don't necessarily trip, and then they kind of take you at face value. You sit down, you have a conversation with them, and if they like your vibe, they hire you. That's the same reason why I got hired. For the people that like to jump on here and be like, oh yeah, you can't be a security, you got felonies. You have to be an absolute idiot, or you're just new to my channel. And I'm not gonna get on here and address you for too long, because at the end of the day, you fools just talk out the side of your neck. Like, I get it, you're like little kids, like, and not even little kids, because little kids grow up to want to be something. You cats don't want to grow up to be absolutely nothing. Like, you talk as if you got that ideal job, like you're making millions, but a lot of you ain't even making nothing. You're on welfare. You probably EBT babies. Like, you ain't really doing nothing with your life. So when you see an older cat that's already been there and done that, and then, I'm working a nice job. And let me also tell you, I also work in home support services, which is healthcare. So people would assume that because you work in healthcare and you're a caretaker, that you can't do caretaking because you got felonies. No. Let me tell you, in home support services, as long as your client knows and waives the fact that you got certain felonies, they acknowledge the fact that you got them and waive the fact that they waive it, saying that they're not really tripping off the fact that you have felonies. They're allowing you to essentially work for them, and then they give you a book, and it's thousands of people. So you got thousands of chances to actually get hired by somebody. It doesn't take away the fact that you're still doing healthcare and you're a caretaker. It just, now it's like finding an employer, which I did. So a couple of times. So that dispels that. Now, the whole fact of people being scared to work normal jobs, is like, I don't know, it's something like, it's like, I never understood that train of thought of cats that like to be broke. Like, a lot of us never wanted to be broke, so we sold dope, we did something on that level. And then when that didn't pan out, because you going in and out of jail, you realize that that's not the way to go. Some don't learn their lesson. They continue to do it until they get a sentence that's long enough to stretch you know, from head to toe. And then there's other ones that just realize it just really wasn't no real money in it anyway, unless you're willing to go above and beyond. Like, if you're not selling keys, you're basically like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not selling keys. And I don't take nothing away from nobody. Like, whatever way you got to get money to support your family, by all means, get it. But for the cats that like to jump on and try to criticize me, like, as if it's gonna stop me from working security. Like, you gotta be comic. They put people like me in situations like this or areas like this because they know I don't necessarily care. Like, I'm really him, so I don't have no problem working in neighborhoods that are dangerous. Like, they put us here because they know we don't care. That's the whole benefit behind having fools that been there and done that, work in situations like this or in places like this, to where the average person only when you got security guards that come here that be scared as hell. They don't know what to expect. They know they're like, oh, it's Hoover, it's Figueroa. They know it can get dicey. They hear the gunshots. They hear it like when it's popping, it's popping. So they know what's up. They ain't really try to deal with it, so they dip. They put the homies here, we handled it. Like, it's just what it is. Like, and I'm not saying everything goes without issue. Since I've been here, I've called four fools, but I just, it goes without saying. It's when there's a certain level of respect, and when the respect is not given, we have to go another route with it. But I digress, and a lot of it is just letting cats know exactly who they're dealing with, and you know what I mean. It's a respect thing. It's a respect thing, and I get it. Some of you cats that be running your mouth, you couldn't this being in a situation like this will eat you up. You're not prepared to deal with it. Like, you can't handle the fact of being somewhere that is out of your control. Like, no matter where I'm at, I'm gonna be me regardless. Whether security, individual, I'm gonna be me. Now, the other thing to address about, what he say? The buster fool, you, making reports and all. You don't do that, dog. Like, there's ways to do things and there's ways not to do things, and you don't necessarily have to make no reports. If somebody's doing something I don't like, I tell them to get the fuck out in a nice way. And if they don't go after that, I tell them, hey, you gotta go. They gonna go regardless. There's this hard body shit. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, some fools, like, they didn't have their dad in their life. Maybe their mom raised them, and instead of getting the strength from her, you got like the soft part. So you confrontation and really having to, you know, let it be known and just exude that energy. You become reclusive. You can't really deal with it. So when somebody do confront you or push back, you don't know how to get around that. There's ways to do that. You can talk and try to be civilized, but when it comes to something else, then you exert that real energy. There's monsters in here, you know what I mean? You do that respectfully, and if they can't get it after that, then it is what it is. Like, you got to go where you go. But for the most part, I don't really have to do that because cats already know what's up with me. It's a respect thing. I give them the respect and I treat them like human beings. It's when they don't give me my respect is when we got to talk about something different. But for the most part, I don't have to go there, dog. Like, my energy has always been there. It's just there, dog. It's respectful. It's like I'm humble as fuck. Like, you might think I was soft the way I talk, but it's just, the energy's there, and real cats understand that. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to do too much. And if there's a misunderstanding, then we get it settled real quick, so there ain't no misunderstanding the next time. But that all comes down to being that. You know what I mean? There ain't nothing changed, dog. From the uniform to the whatever, dog. Ain't nothing changed. It just I'm older, dog. I realize that just being a like little vagabundo on the street, you can't do that, dog. You gotta work. You gotta handle your business, dog. You can't be broke and live. You gotta handle your business. In order to handle my business, I gotta do security. I gotta do in-home. I also gotta do other things. I gotta push my YouTube up. I gotta do a lot of things, dude. I'm about getting that money. As long as my kids are eating well, haircuts, they got their shoes, their clothes, everything, they're clean, they got a roof over their head, I'm happy with that, dog. Like, I don't really need too much. I don't really need too much. Like, you figure, dude, at one time I was working in the kitchen making 35 cents the most. You know what I'm saying? Like, the max. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when fools be like, oh, I wouldn't work this, I couldn't make this much money. You must not never been in a situation to where you're making 20, 40 times less than that. Like, I'm hard body, I'm built different. Like, tired, legs hurting, I'm gonna get out there and get it regardless. I'm better at manual jobs, but security is easy. You exert enough energy, you'll never have no real issues because cats ain't really gonna test you like that. They already know that you really about what you say you about. Ain't gotta call no cops, ain't gotta be doing all that extras. They know what you're about. You exude it. You ain't gotta be one of them cats that go, gotta be aggressive all the time. I'm humble. Hey, hey, that's right, dog. They get it, but they also see there's something else behind that. Like you can't just get over on me. But that's how you gotta be when you work in neighborhoods like this, dog. Like I've worked in a few different spots where it's dicey, and securities that don't know how to be respectful at the same time, exuding that I don't fuck around type energy. You get ran over, or you get beat the fuck up, or something happened to you. Like you gotta be respectful. You gotta be with the business. You gotta let them know you ain't here to be doing no snitchy shit. Like I ain't, I do what's mandated. If somebody can't come up in here, I let them know. If the tenant don't want a certain person here, they can't be here. They get out. They don't have no choice. It's either that or they can get physical, but it ain't gonna work in their favor. Like so, it's for the most part they leave. I tell them, man, come back later, dude. She gonna be, a lot of times it's like spousal thing. They'll get to arguing, want to fight. Like, man, just come back later. You're gonna be good. And they come back and they be good. And maybe 2 days later to be fighting, or maybe the same night. But I'm not here to break up fights. I'm here to watch and make sure it don't get out of control. And that's it, or you gonna destroy the property. But as far as people tagging on the outside of the gate and busting no taggers, I'll run you off if them cameras on you. But other than that, it's like that ain't my job, dude. My job is to make sure you ain't destroying shit in here and make sure people ain't trying to take each other's head off in here. I have no problem with physicality, but I'm not gonna be disrespectful to where I'm at. It's like, come on, dog. Like I know how to conduct myself, but yeah, that's just to dispel that, dog. You can be a security guard, you can be a caretaker, you can be a lot of things, dog. People didn't think that felons could vote. Like, are you that slow? Like, but I get it. You don't pay attention to certain things, but you can go out and vote. They created a certain law for people that got felonies. There's a lot of things, dog, for the people that, but I get it. There's some people that never been there. They talk it, but they've never been nowhere. Having fools are like 16, 17, 20-year olds that, they're homeboys and their family members are gang members, but they're not. But the simple fact that we don't get along with their family, they like to talk. Especially if you're one of them northern dudes, like, miss me with that. Like, and let me just say this. You can't be a real northerner because them food structure was so tight. Like, there's certain things that they just can and won't do. A lot of times you see a Norteño on here, something's up with him, like, because their structure is different. But maybe I'll get into that another time. But with that being said, dog, don't let these fools ruin you, dog. If you trying to get a job in security, dog, get it. Get it, dog, because a lot of times we gonna be more respected than the cats that never been there and never done that. We ain't freezing, dog. We don't pump fake. It goes one way or it goes one way. That's it. That being said, I'm your boy Zod, and I'm about to smash this wing stop that I got right here. And I'm out.